all, welcome. My name is Ricardo.
My name is Paula.
And we are from ALC Dance Company and the studios. And we are here every Monday and Wednesday doing a KTT talks, KTT from Kizomba Teachers Training. It's a project that we are developing since 2013. And our major goal is to be able to talk with all our dear students from this training, the attendees, to know the reasons why they decided to do that and to see their path in the between, to know a little bit more their history also from where they are coming from. Paula is touching my back because she's telling that I'm speaking too loud, but if the people don't want to listen, they can go to the beach outside.
Oh, you changed.
Yes,
Okay.
they change. So, and here we have Dimitry and Ella that also attended our teachers training. And let's start from the start. So please, one each time, ladies first. Maybe Ella, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where are you living? What were your background outside of dancing, your studies, if you work in other areas, and then we go to Dimitry.
Okay. So I'm originally from Kiev, Ukraine. I was born in Kiev. I came to Philadelphia in the United States with my family when I was very small. So I went to school, college, everything already in the United States. I've been dancing pretty much since I was like 3 years old. I started with ballet. It was actually like one of the first things, like when we first came to the United States, immigration, everything was very difficult. So, finding work was difficult for my parents in the beginning. They didn't have any English. My dad was working a lot of odd jobs. He was delivering pizza. He was like selling pretzels on the street and things like that. So, at first it was very difficult, like for my family to get a good start in the country. And I don't know, like I was very, very small, but I actually remember that when my dad was able to like scrape together some money and he took me to see Nutcracker Ballet, and I saw Nutcracker Ballet, and I'm like, I want to dance. I want to dance. Like that's my dream. I want to dance. So my parents signed me up for ballet classes, so I was doing that throughout childhood. I did also some like jazz, hip hop, and then when I was about 11 years old, I started doing competitive Latin ballroom. So I did that for a few years, and then when I was 13, 14, I started salsa, and then kind of been in social dancing since then. And then as far as not dance background, I went to school for clinical psychology. I'm now also getting my master's degree in clinical counseling. And then I work as a clinical supervisor for drug treatment court. So I work in the criminal justice system with individuals who have drug problems and addictions, as well as mental health issues, and they commit various forms of drug-related crime. And so instead of sending them to jail immediately, we work to treat them first. So we work together with the
some
court
therapies,
to get them appropriate treatment, just to give them a chance to get better. Because if mental health or a drug problem was what caused them to commit the crime in the first place, it's kind of not fair to lock them away without giving them a chance to get better.
And I can see that you like that kind of job.
Yeah.
I can notice the passion that you start transmitting when you start speaking about that area. It's very beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I love people, and I truly believe people deserve chances to get better at life.
But you are working in that field, or you still studying? You are already working.
I'm working. I currently am a clinical supervisor, and I'm also at the same time in school getting my master's degree.
So good. Congratulations.
Nice.
Dimitry.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Moscow, and came to US only in my 20s.
Damn, but your accent is really Americanish.
Americanish, yeah. Well, I was lucky enough to study in Moscow in a school with kind of like advanced English studies. So language wasn't ever a problem for me, like coming to US. So I came to US in my 20s with my parents. Never had any dance background ever before that. And eventually, through a friend introduced me to salsa dancing or said like he was taking salsa dancing lessons. And then I probably saw salsa dancing in one of the like a Cuban bars or clubs, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I want to try to do that, try to learn that. Like people are having a lot of fun. So I started with kind of very simple salsa lessons, did a little bit of ballroom, but eventually switched just to social salsa dancing
Nice.
and bachata, and did that for a few years, probably until 2012 is when I saw Kizomba and
Okay.
started to get interested
We
in
go
that.
we go to the Kizomba in a few minutes, but
Okay.
it's interesting. You arrived to the U.S. both to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was always in Philadelphia or surrounding area, close to Philadelphia for the whole time I was in
Nice.
US. Yeah.
And your studies and your degrees were in what area?
So I studied, it's called Risk Management and Insurance
Okay.
program in US, and I work in that field. So it's kind of like financial part of
You
the
have a lot of work.
insurance
So in the
business.
U.S. in that field, you have a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah, it's
work.
very specific. Yeah, very specific business to US, and that's what I do. So I basically spend my whole day behind the computer doing
So
calculations and
nice.
all that. So
And it's interesting because you come from similar part of the world, Ukraine and Russia, and both trying to find better life conditions for sure for the parents. And
right.
you met each other there. How you met each other? It was in the dance scene or not?
Yeah,
Oopsie.
Yes.
yeah. So we met. So we met. We were on. So we were pretty much training under the same dance instructor, and it was kind of like in passing we would see each other. So we would go to like the classes, but at some point he stopped going. At some point I stopped going, and then our instructor was organizing a salsa bachata dance team. So then we were both on the dance team together.
Okay.
So we were that we did several routines. There were like different couples, but then at some point we ended up being partners on one of the
Good.
routines.
So stage
And
performance is also something that you enjoy, you like.
yeah, we just I guess ever since that team, since we weren't on that team anymore, we didn't have a chance to, I guess, do as much. Now we actually are also on. We just started a Zouk team as well,
Brazilian Zouk.
so
Yeah.
Nice.
hopefully we can get into some performing again. That would be nice.
Yeah,
Good,
we haven't
good.
Nice.
performed in a number of years, actually. Yeah.
It's like riding the bicycle. For sure, will not forget. A little bit of training and you get there.
Ella just learned to ride the bicycle this year,
Oh,
I taught
really?
her.
Oh, so it's good,
Oh,
good. So you'll
nice.
never forget
I
anymore.
never knew
It's
how to
never
ride a
too late.
bicycle before.
Never too
It's
late.
never too
Exactly.
late.
No, no, no,
Beautiful.
no.
Goals, achievements.
You both did teachers training level one. What
But
make
before the level
before?
one, you went for
Oh,
that
the
intensive
Samba.
training, yeah? The
Kizomba
intensive
and
We
training.
Samba
so we
training.
did yeah we did the level one with the Kizomba Semba intensive, and
It's
then we
one
did
after the
level
other.
two, level three, and the performers, the kupi.
The
Yeah.
Kupi.
Do you remember when you met us and when we met each other?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was
So I think met you guys really long time ago, like maybe it's 2012 or 2013. And I'm not sure if it was your first time in US or not,
In
but one
Texas,
of the first times.
Houston.
No, in New York City.
Ah, okay.
So
So
there
Oh,
it
was a
was like,
kind of like a weekender, Kizomba weekender in New
oh
York
damn! It
City,
was
and
with the
yeah,
what the Jeffrey,
Jeffrey.
the organizer,
maybe. So
Jeffrey
I don't
Kizomba.
quite. Maybe I'm not quite remembering who was the organizer, but you were there, and there were a couple of other artists there. I think Ivo Vieira was there, and
So I
that's
think
the
it was
first
our
time.
second time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first time I met you guys. So quite
Nice.
a long time ago.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
And you, Ella?
honestly, I found out about you guys through Dimitry. So pretty much he started Kizomba first, and then he kind of taught me. Because I wasn't like I didn't really like Kizomba when I first saw it. I was
It's like me.
very, yeah. I didn't understand it. Like when it started first coming to Philadelphia, I was like watching, I'm like, I don't understand what they're doing. It looked like very, very bad, either very bad tango or very bad bachata. I wasn't sure what it was. The music I thought was boring. I'm like, it's very slow. And it's like when I was looking, it's usually I was looking from like the back and I just see the girl and it just looked like two people like just grinding on each other. I'm like, what is going on? Like what's the basic step? Like I'm not understanding this. And I tried, I think, at a couple festivals to take workshops. It was not making sense. I couldn't understand what it was. It's like we're just stepping in place. Like what is this? And then at one festival, so Dimitry and I, we were still on the dance team, but we were just like friends, partners, and things like that. We weren't dating yet. And we were at a dance festival, and by this point, Dimitry was doing like private lessons. He was taking a lot of workshops, whereas I was mostly trying to learn Brazilian zouk. He was all in Kizomba at that point. So he took me like to the Kizomba room, and he started leading me, and I was like, I love this.
Good job, Dimitri. Good job.
Well done.
Yeah, so I really that's when I kind of like fell in love with Kizomba. And it's, so then Dimitri started teaching me, and we were watching a lot of your guys' videos, and we were trying to also, because we're both learning. So we were learning from a lot of videos because we didn't have any classes in our city. We had to usually go to like New York or festivals to actually take classes. But Dimitri was a huge fan of you guys. He was always watching your videos, and he was showing me.
I think so. When I saw you teach at that New York mini festival, like your teaching style and how you explain stuff, that really kind of really connected with me, and I was like, oh, this couple are really awesome, and they're, besides good dancers, the way you teach, it was really great. And from that point on, I kind of started following you guys.
So good. I know that there is a very funny story regarding your attending to the teachers training, because you were dating and then you were planning to come during a lot of time, and then suddenly you broke your relation, and without knowing, you find each other in Portugal to attend the training. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because it's really cool. It's like you can do a movie script with that.
So we were together for a few years, and then kind of like certain things didn't work out, and we really weren't like talking for like a few months. And but pretty much when we were together the first time, we were always talking about going to the ALC training. It was like a major goal of ours, something we really wanted to do. And people were, in our city, people, when they would see a social dance Kizomba, they were saying like, are you guys going to teach? Are you guys going to teach? And we're both like kind of perfectionists. So we were like, we don't want to teach until we like learn to do it the right way. So we were planning on coming to Portugal and taking the teacher training for like a long time, but for some reason, every time it was coming out, it was just not working. Like the schedule wasn't working. So the schedule wasn't working out for some reason. And then, we weren't together anymore. And I guess completely separately, we were like, it worked out scheduling wise when you had the training in May. And I think, at least, I don't know how it was for Dimitry, but for me, it was also one of those like, I'm going to do this anyway. Like, I don't need to like have a partner. I don't need to have somebody. If this is something I wanted to do, I want to be able to do it. So I signed up, and he signed up separately as well. And,
damn, that's a coincidence. That was the universe aligning to be able for you to find again in a different area from your native living day. So it was.
But if either one or the other, you didn't knew that the other will be at teachers training.
So we found out like shortly before, but very shortly before.
At some point we found out, but like later, closer to the training.
Yeah.
Damn.
What you thought? Like, oh my gosh.
WTF.
Something like that. Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I was scared that I was just like not gonna enjoy myself, that it was just gonna be either like emotional or I'm just not gonna enjoy myself. I was just gonna be like too preoccupied with like that situation, but it ended up like working out great. And also I think when I came, that was my first time in Portugal, and I first came to Lisbon for the first couple days before going to Porto, and I absolutely fell in love with the country. Like, never in my life before, I think, have I found a place that felt like home to that extent for
So
me.
good.
So I completely fell in love with everything in Portugal, and I don't know, I'm considering potentially one day moving.
Oh,
So nice, so nice, so nice. So you find again, it was like an awkward situation, but in somehow you got together again. So it was a way of finding again points in common to figure it out, things that were not sold. And you find here in the dance also something that allow you to
connect again.
and to
Yes.
bring strength ties between each other. But going a little bit back, what was your goals to attend? So individual goals, because at the beginning for sure you had goals
Different.
together, and then when you split, you start having other different goals to attend the teachers training. You want to teach,
Level
so
one.
in somehow, from what I was understanding what you were saying, but for sure you create some expectations, and you wanted to, like a checklist. I want this, and that. And when you get there, we are always curious to know, what did you find? Did you find what you were trying to find? Did you find less? Did you find more? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Well, so in terms of coming to a training, not as a couple, but one by one, I think it's something each of us still wanted to do a lot. And I think the goals were, even if I'm not maybe teaching alone, it will give me so much, even just to be a social dancer, the foundation it will give me, I can take multiple paths with that. So I can eventually start teaching, I can become a better social dancer first to understand a lot of the foundations, and then eventually be able to communicate it to the others, but to understand something myself better first. And in terms of what we gotten from the training, I think it's definitely more than we expected. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it's going to be good, but I wasn't sure like how it's going to be. But I think the level of detail that we've gotten from the training, it's definitely beyond the expectation, the initial expectation that we had.
And personal experience, how was it? Because now for me it make a lot of sense knowing your job, because we know each other already for a long time, but I didn't know the area that you were working. And as you told me that you work in the insurance area, I can understand now maybe the why you are so calm, so relaxed, introverted. And during this process of trainings, we were feeling that change in your personality, being a little bit more open and a little bit more allowing to enter the comfort zone around your circle of
Right.
insurance, let's call it like that. How was that personal experience? Did you felt like, even for your personal life outside of the Kizomba dancing, did you felt that this brought some kind of development?
I think absolutely yes. It was great experience. I think ability to connect to other people in a different way, in a more open way. That was definitely very beneficial. And in terms of the training itself, I think I'm sure all of the groups that come in there become very friendly, and it's a great experience. But it was interesting, like the first day everybody is like kind of keeping to themselves, and basically the second day everybody is friends, like you knew them for years. So it's like very rapid. There's a very rapid change where like first day is everybody kind of like calm and quiet, and then second day everybody everybody knows each other.
After the first party
yeah.
at Mushima. That's
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
After some caipirinhas.
Yes, but that's I think that's such a great part of that experience to make new friends and connections that stay with you probably for life.
It's a network that start
Yeah.
becoming in. We had more than 400 people attending the training, and it's
Hmm.
good that, of course, mainly when you start getting the level 2 people from different groups of level 1 and start hanging out together, and even with the Facebook groups, we start creating connections, and it's one of our major goals also, it's to create this kind of network that if now you go to Azores, maybe you could go to that group to say, hey, anybody here that is from Azores? I know that we have people from Madeira, but from Azores,
I don't know.
I'm not sure if we
Yeah.
have somebody. And this is a way also
Okay.
of opening doors, because if you want to travel
Yeah.
anywhere, if you have people from all over the world, it's a way of being welcome. And for you, Ella, you are the totally opposite, because you are more extroverted, more ta-da, I'm here. But that was
Well,
for you.
I'm actually a fairly introverted person as well,
I
but it's
understand you.
just,
We are the same.
yeah, yeah. It's like I'm this weird combination. Like I'm introverted, but I really love people. So, like, yeah. But for me, since I've been dancing my whole life, I think there was always that thought of teaching in the back of my mind, of that I wanted to teach and kind of pass on my love of dance. But I never had, even before, like I loved salsa, I loved bachata, but I never had a desire to teach it per se. Because I didn't think that I had anything that I could offer that a bunch of, great other instructors weren't already doing. I didn't think I had some kind of unique connection to the dance that I could pass that on. And only when I found Kizomba did I actually feel like, this is something that is such a huge part of me now, something that I can connect with so deeply. And I felt like this is something I would really love to pass on to other people. I would love to pass on, what I learned about the music, what I learned about the history, the movement, kind of all together. I would really love to teach this. So then, I was, even before we did the teacher training, I was always talking to Dimitry about the fact, like, listen, we didn't do the teacher training yet, but let's maybe start teaching. Let's start teaching. And he was like, nope. He's like, until we're doing ALC teacher training, we are not starting to teach. So then
And
when
did
I
you start
came,
already?
we did not, unfortunately. So, so pretty much what happened, yes, I came to the first teacher training with the intention of then starting to teach. What happened, unfortunately, was 2 weeks after we came back from the teacher training, my mother very unexpectedly and tragically died.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, it was literally like right 2 weeks after we came back from the first training. So that kind of really, it really turned my
Stopped.
life
Yeah.
on its head, essentially. My mom was my world. So it was, it was definitely, everything kind of changed after that.
Yeah.
Not to say that my plans to teach have changed, but definitely priorities kind of shifted
Of
for
course.
me after that. So, and then I was going through, not right immediately afterwards, but after like some months passed, like more so in the fall, winter of 2018. I was going through, like, it really hit me. It hit me
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
And
yeah, I can imagine.
I went into a very kind of dark spiral downward, to a point where I wasn't even sure, like, do I have to quit work because I wasn't able to work appropriately? And just when that happened is when you guys announced the dates for level 2 and level 3. Along with Tafish. So I knew that it was coming, but we didn't know exactly when. And that's when
Yeah.
like all of the information finally came out. And for me, I was like, Portugal and Kizomba, like that's my happy place. That's where I always felt like I can heal and recover and, find my zone. So it was like kind of perfect. Like I saw level 2, level 3. And at that point, it wasn't even so much for the teaching purpose, but it was more so my own healing and
Personal.
kind of also, so level 2 and level 3 for me was more about like my own personal growth. So I signed up, we both at that point, we both wanted to do it. So we both signed up for it. I actually took medical leave at work for like a month to kind of get myself together and then, go to Portugal. And yeah, like I can't say like it was just this miracle of like, oh my God, I suddenly healed and I got better. Like I'm
Of
still
course,
working.
but it
Yeah,
helped.
I'm still working. I'm still working through a lot of things, but yeah, it's like it was kind of like a reset button for me, like coming back, walking as soon as like I walked it back into like, the studio into Mushima, I was like, oh my God,
So
like I'm so
good.
Yeah,
happy to
it's
see
good because
everybody.
it's so interesting that you are saying that. You should write that. You
Yeah.
should write that in a kind of article because that can help a lot of people. We are all the time selling this idea that who dance is happier. Dance makes really good to our health, to our mind, to our spirit, to everything. But it's important to collect this kind of testimonials,
Testimonials.
this kind of testimonials of people that in fact felt a big change through the dance, because it's we know that because we live that every single day in our school. You are not yet teaching, and you cannot feel this kind of transformation on people's life, but we really assist to amazing miracles.
Completely
And knowing
changes.
this your story, I'm stealing it. I will use it more often because this can create a strong impact in a lot of people's life because they pass through situations on their personal life that they don't know how to deal, and a lot of times they go into medicines and drugs and stuff like that that are pain relievers. They don't heal the proper problem, and we need to deal it and face it, and we need to enter in that spiral that you enter to be able to go till the end of the dark hole, but to use your feet to press the floor and to go up again. And you had that lucky of mindset that you decided, I spend good moments here, this bring me good memories, I will allow myself to pass through this in order that I deserve to move on. And you need to have to do the grief in order that it's your mother, it's your world, like you said. But the life keeps going, and for sure your mother wants the best for you, and she will not want you to be in that dark zone. Of course, you need to pass through there, and you need to accept. And if you are in psychology, good that you were able to apply that knowledge to yourself, because a lot of people that study that and inspire others to move in certain directions, they don't have the strength and the power to use it to themselves. So I'm so happy that you were able to do that. And of course, you had an amazing support from Dimitry, that
Yes.
when we are two, it's much easier. And that situation of yin and yang, when one is down, the other is up, it's a blessing situation that we, like me and Paula, we can share together. And of course, alone we need to be strong, but when we are together, we are powerful. And allowing to be helped with others, it's a kind of growing that it takes. So in that point, I always remember from the trainings that you were doing some associations from your studies, things that we were doing in a lot of moments without the conscience that we were applying some techniques of almost like coaching in our training. And you were one of those that start calling us the attention on some of the things that we were using. And also, I remember that you had an idea, I don't know specifically, but you wanted to study something to apply in your field of profession using through the dance. Am I correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
did you make
so
some work in that area?
well, I think what's my big kind of ultimate goal of what I would love to at some point at the end is I would love to kind of have open up a dance studio that also functions as a therapy program. So actually doing dance therapy through dance.
That's a beautiful project.
And that, I mean, hopefully someday I'll be able to realize that. But because really it's when you find, I think when you find that connection with dance, with the music, when you feel like that's your happy place, and that's what I always call Kizomba, like Kizomba is my happy place. Which I like, as much as I love all of the other social dances that I've done and do, as much as I love them, I think only like Kizomba actually brings me that. It's as soon as I walk into like a kizomba room or go to a party and I hear the music, like that's it. Like, you know, everything is just melts away, all problems just melt away. So that's what I really want to bring to other people, and hopefully you know, get them to feel the same, because I know on myself what that does, and what a beautiful feeling that is.
And you had the experience of the changing in something by your
With
own,
you.
so it's much easier to pass the experience to other person.
Yes, yes.
So
So beautiful.
nice.
So let's move in that direction that we already are talking about the dreams. And in your area, in your case, Dimitri, can you hear us good?
Yes, yes.
Oh, nice, nice.
Because your image is getting a little bit blurred.
Okay.
So, and you can see us good also.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Maybe it's our internet here. So we have this metaphor of the ladders that we have in our life, and we consider that we have three ladders. We have the professional ladder, we have the personal ladder, and the personal in terms of relationship with others, with friends, family, and the ladder of I. So the growing
Individual.
and the individual ladder, the one that we need to find ourselves and create our step by step to get to the top of the ladder. And we would like to bring to these talks this kind of conversation where we want, in the way that you can do it, of course, that you share a little bit what are the top of your ladders. Elle already said about this studio where she can get together the dance lessons and also a therapy clinic for people to be healed through the dance, and that's a beautiful project. And what about you, Dimitri? What are your big dreams?
Well, I think as it relates to dance, I would love to start teaching eventually, and I think, but besides that, I would love to build a bigger Kizomba dance community in our city in Philadelphia. It exists right now. It's a little bit small, so it's not getting as much traction as I think it deserves. I think we can bring a lot more people into that scene. Obviously, right now with COVID-19 and all of that, there's nothing happening, but eventually all of that will come back. Dance will come back. Yeah, building a larger community that can unite people and bring people maybe even outside of dance, people who have not danced salsa or bachata before. So bring all kinds of different people and build a larger Kizomba dance community. I think that's for me a goal in dance. Yeah.
Nice. And in other ways, in your profession, you want to keep developing your profession. You have like a top of ladder to get.
Well, you know, with my profession, that's other part of kind of my thinking is that ideally I would love to actually leave the field, but it's right now I think our connection is pausing a little bit.
Yeah.
But, can you guys hear us and see us
Yeah.
okay?
Yes, yes.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So yeah, so I was saying, ideally, I think I would love to leave that area and do something else. It's not an easy task to
Decision.
achieve. Yeah, because you reach certain level of your career, you're successful, you get paid good amount of money. So to leave that to something that's not guaranteed income or starting from the beginning is very, very, very complicated thing to do. So,
Of course.
but if I can do that and achieve that, I think that would benefit me a lot, just to switch to different areas.
Yeah, I can notice that in the same way that Ella was talking about of her profession, that I saw like a beautiful sparkling energy in you. I see that your profession is just a way of
To earn
having a salary. Having a salary. It's
yeah,
not a thing that
Yeah.
This metaphor is beautiful also, that we are doing a lot of trainings also, and we are following a Brazilian guy that we are doing a digital marketing training, and they have this expression that is doing something that makes your heart sing. And
Right.
I can see the difference when you speak about dancing. I can see your heart start singing, and when you
Yeah.
speak about the other area, not so much. So of course, putting the weight one side and another, it's a difficult task, and of course you need to have courage. But as each day it passes, it will get more and more difficult. And something that is
Right.
a fact is that everything that we need to start, it's difficult. So the best thing that
Yes.
we need to do is to create easiness to start. So prepare the tools in order that the starting will not be so difficult, because when after you start, it's like a cruise control and you can keep going. But that shift of starting, and I understand, and you need to be smart, of course, and you need to be intelligent, that will not completely forget all the work that you made and gave you a financial
Stability.
stability that you need.
Yes.
But you also have, for sure, in your business, something that make you happy, something that you like. So at least with numbers, you need to like something to deal. Otherwise, you would already
Right. Yeah.
suicide yourself. But something in numbers, I'm just throwing here some ideas and make you think, of course. But taking in consideration what you were saying as your dream in the dance field of increasing the community, and you were also speaking about the impact that that can create on people's life, in somehow your dreams are together, so you have more or less the same direction. And maybe you, Dimitri, you have more skills to deal with the business part of that in parallel with the part that you need to deal more in the field of dealing with the people. So maybe
Right.
you have here a beautiful partnership that you can create with knowledge in different areas. And for sure, Elle already had some contacts even regarding of some ministries of education and health departments of whatever, that you can create a kind of project that can be open for the people, but also can be in partnership with government or some clinics that can create that system. And you have an area that can grow in so many different ways, because
Yeah.
including you can have facilities that allow people to stay there sleeping and have cares in a lot of different orders, can go to child that have a lot of difficulties of relationship also because of the difficult process of growing that they had, to molestations, to drug problems, whatever. And you can create a beautiful impact in your community. And if you are people that like to grow, that can create an amazing brand that can grow through the whole USA and through all the world,
Can be bigger than
and can
you.
be a thing that was never
Yeah.
done before. And something that after you leave this plan, you create something that can have a continuation. So a little bit like with our brand, ALC, it's something that we create that we want to be bigger than us. That's why we don't call Paula and Ricardo Dance Studios. We call it to a brand that have a representation, have certain qualities and standards that need to be followed. And I hope that in 100 years, 200 years that we are not here, that still keep going, and we allow our stamp to be planted in this world. So
I have just a question. Why, since you made the level 2, level 3, the teachers training, why you didn't start yet teaching? What is
the barrier.
yes.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's kind of like I have a lot on my plate right now because of work. I have a lot going on with work because also I'm a supervisor manager. So that's sometimes like I sometimes had days when I was working 12, 14-hour days. On top of that, having school, working towards my master's part-time, it's just a lot. And it's not even so much a question of time. I think everybody uses an excuse of, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time. In reality, I think we have a lot more time than we realize, and we don't realize how much time is actually just spent like very idle. So it's not even like a question of time for me, it's more of a factor of energy. I think the energy for me just hasn't been there. In this time period, I'm still working towards a lot of things that I'm kind of restructuring my life right now. I'm trying to kind of rediscover, I think, who I am, because once again, like I said, my mom was very much my world, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Like, she was kind
Let
of
me
my
ask you
role
something.
model.
Sorry to interrupt you.
So,
In that
yep, go ahead.
moment that you had that bad moment that your mom left this world, you were already with high demand in your work or not?
Yes, but I had more energy.
But this to tell you that it happened
Yeah.
something that you quit your work during 1 month. And it was not something possible in your mind till something happened. So my question is, why it need to happen something so bad in order that allow you to stop during 1 month, something that you were not able to stop one day? And so my question is, did your work stop, or the place that you work without your presence stop, or it keep going?
Everything kept going. Yeah,
So
it did. Yeah.
it's a question of defining the priorities. It's a question of defining timings and to book certain parts of your day like something that you need. You need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to go to the toilet. And when you need, because otherwise you cannot survive. So if you have something that you want really to do, pick up your agenda and book it there and place an hour to do that. And you just need to do it in the same way that if you need to go to the work, you need to go and you cannot do nothing else. So this is one of the things, it's aligned with what we were talking before. It's the starting, and it will still going forward. And from what I'm seeing, in order that you can make your dream become a plan and become a reality, materialized, this, I think it's the next step that you need to do. You need to test yourself as a teaching in a public situation, or at least with some friends, to feel that, I don't know if you ever teach any lesson, at least with friends or a workshop or something like that. Did you make that already?
Yeah, we've done that for friends.
Okay, but did you try to organize a workshop where you will teach something and charge to the people?
No.
No.
So I think I found here the commitment of for them, because I think that will be a trigger to allow you to start thinking about your dreams and allowing to create the structure of the ladder that maybe, because even in your speech you were saying one day something far away on the time, blah blah blah, because it's something that you consider that is difficult to reach. And I feel like you are looking only to the top of the ladder and you are forgetting to look down to the first step. And you have already a top of the ladder. This is beautiful.
Amazing.
A lot of people don't have it.
Yes.
Even, I don't know if you follow this kind of talks, and we have this kind of conversation with all of them. And some people, they think they have the top of the ladder, but during the conversation, they realize that they don't have it. So that the first task that we give to them, like a homework, is to define in numbers and in chronologic time what is their top of the ladder. So you have already that, and it's half of the work done. You just need to place a date, a deadline to that happen, and can be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that doesn't matter. But after you define that, you need to do a backward process to do the first step. And I think your first step is to create. Now it's not the time, of course, because with the COVID and all this stuff, we cannot have it. But you can start preparing, and you can start trying to organize the schedule in order that one day a week, inside of everything that you need to do, the 12 hours a day, the working in the insurance company, blah, 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 you define one day of the week, 1 hour to teach a lesson and to open your first group and to see and to test yourself, because you will never be completely ready, and you know that. Even you spend years and years studying the university and the school, taking the degrees, but when you come to the field, you just realize that you don't know nothing. You have a bunch of theories that you need to test. Teaching is exactly the same. You have already a lot of tools. You made a lot of trainings, you made a lot of workshops, you dance between each other, but you never test properly how it will work with you, because your community will be different. Philadelphia is different from Porto. It's different from China, it's different from everywhere else. And you need to test, you need to try, and you need to do mistakes and to correct and start feeling on your skin how it is, in fact, to have that happening, and start directing the work that you are doing to test also what you want to do in the future with that clinic of dance. So, and you need to start creating all the project in your brain in order that you can pass it to the paper, and trying to start imagining how many rooms you will have in that clinic, how many studios, how many dormitories you're gonna have, what will be the color of the walls, I don't know, all the simple details.
Yes.
You need to imagine them and start writing down. And this, I can tell you that I'm not talking like
Blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah, blah talk. Nowadays, I have that conscience, but we were blessed. I always say that we have a little star that light our way. And in the moment that we are not knowing where to go, we just take a decision and it happens. So this little star, it's like an angel, a guardian angel, call it whatever you want. But I discovered my papers of, 16 years ago, the time that we decided to open the first mushim and the first school. And this talk that we are having now, we made that for us. I have that, my handwriting papers, imagining how it would be, the number of rooms, trying to do already the numbers of how much we would need to invest, how much it will cost this and that, without, and this was pure speculation because I didn't have the experience, neither the knowledge. Nowadays, doing all the studies that we are doing, I realized that in an unconscious way, we were doing already what the master people tell to the others to do. So with experience, we can tell you that it works because you create something that will be materialized. And the best example is the Walt Disney, and that for me, this stay in my mind like, whoa, because Walt Disney created the beautiful worlds that he creates. And in the day of the inauguration of the first Walt Disney, he was not there because he passed away. Mm-hmm. So it was one friend of the family plus the wife. And the friend of the family said to the wife, it's a pity that Walt Disney is not here to see this happening. And she's interrupting him saying, sorry, it's because he already saw that in his head that nowadays we have the possibility to watch it with our eyes.
He was the first one to see that.
He was the first one to see that. So this is just the materialization that you already saw.
And let me share with you something. This evening, I was with lots of difficulties to sleep because of several stuff. And I was not able to sleep during hours. And then just even with trying to do meditation, I was not able to calm down my brain. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then it was a moment that I thought, it's in my hands. I can change this. What I need to do to change this. Then I start relaxing my body and everything, and then I fell asleep. I don't remember to fall asleep at all, but it was that. And there are lots of things that I use when I'm not good, when I'm sad, when I'm without energy, when there are stuffs that supposedly I cannot control. And I give some excuses. I cannot do this because of that. But when I put in my mind, this is on my hands, I can change for sure something. I can change my perspective. I can change my way of seeing things. I can change my way of doing things. Remember the thing that I spoke in the teacher's training of cleaning my outdoor carpet? You know, I cannot change the world, but I can start cleaning my outside carpet. Then my neighbor is going to see, he's going to clean. Do you know that? Then it's in our hands. When I'm like this, feeling down or sad or
I appear.
mad, I put on my mind, this is on my hands. What can I do? And then I arrange the stuff to gain again energy and to change the world again.
So we need to have here a commitment from your
Yeah.
side. Commitment in order that today or tomorrow you're gonna do something that will be your first step of your ladder. Okay. Of course, now you are not in the US. You are in vacation in Azores, and we are in a situation that it's difficult to start having the lessons because everything it's stopped. But at least you can start doing some talks. So for sure, you have places that you know back there in home, people that might have dance studios, that might have interest that you, and maybe they already contact you saying, why not to try to do something? So maybe you already have this kind of conversation, but never happened. So at least one text message I would like you to have with one of that person saying, look, we are thinking in start creating this project at least with 1 hour a week of lesson. Do you think that can happen this when the lockdown disappear? When you send that message, I want you to take a picture and publish on internet saying soon Kizomba lessons in Philly. And you don't need to say nothing more. So it's just a teaser, okay? But only after that first talk with that person. Good?
Okay.
And
Yes.
I want you to tag us, okay? Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Take the picture. And when you took the picture and say soon news or soon Kizomba lessons, whatever, we will know that you already had that conversation with somebody by message or by phone. Good?
Okay. Yes. You
Nice.
have our
Deal?
Yes.
Good. So
Hopefully
now
we'll
to-
get a good relaxation here in Azores, get our heads cleared up and come back and
Yeah.
start planning.
Nice.
Perfect. So today or tomorrow, okay? It cannot be next week. It needs to be at least one message. Even if you don't get an answer, you send the message, you seed the seed, you plant the seed, so something will happen. So it's important also when you plant a seed that you plant the proper seed.
It's a starting.
If you want to collect potatoes, don't plant carrot seeds, okay?
Yeah.
So it's important to
The proper
the
seed.
proper seed. Good, so good. So to finish, because Instagram just give us 1 hour and it passes fast and you need also to keep enjoying your vacation, we would like you just to give a message for those that are listening, whatever you want. One message each one of you.
Message. It's like you put me on the spot because I don't want to give a message that's like, kind of cliche, like, oh, follow your dreams, follow your
Whatever
Whatever you want.
Whatever you feel.
Like an advice from your experience,
Yeah.
for example, from that experience that you had, can be something more deep or something more cool or more relaxed. It's up to you. Just don't think too much.
No.
Message to the ones that
Simple.
are listening us. Allow that. It's like throwing up. It comes out.
I'd say, always believe that you can grow. Believe that you can find yourself, even when it feels like you can't. Even when it feels like, like everything's done, like you're done, like you're not a human anymore. Like I think there's nothing more beautiful than being a human being, and recognizing that, you can never lose. You can either win or you can learn and you can grow. There's no loss. Everything is growth.
It's
Beautiful.
for you also, that message. Okay?
Go, Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Well, I think I'll give a message more about learning. So I'm sure people who are watching Instagram, some of them went through ALC training, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who just follow you and they have not gone through any of your training. So I think my advice is that if you want to gain a lot of depth in knowledge of Kizomba, if you even if you don't want to teach, you want to grow as a person or as a social dancer, um, absolutely, you absolutely should take ALC's teacher training,
I
any
need to
sort
send you the
of
check after.
yeah, any sort of even like your weekenders that you guys did with Kupi, and I'm sure some others that you did. There's so much knowledge and material that being taught, and it's like every time there's another level of something that you can probably before you wouldn't even imagine that there's such depth of knowledge there that most people are really unaware if they have not taken any of your programs. So yeah, I think my advice is if you want to grow as a social dancer, teacher, person, absolutely go to the best. And
So kind.
once COVID-19 passes, I'm sure dance will come back, everything will restart again, and yes, and yeah, and everything will come back,
For sure.
and we'll dance
Thank you so
again.
much. Thank you so much for your time. Instagram is already saying here 1 minute to go. So it
All right.
was beautiful to watch you and to speak to you, and it was very inspiring your story. And for sure, you will write a beautiful book in this passing through this world, and can't wait to see the news.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
guys.
you
you.
and
Thank you so
enjoy
much.
Açores.
Enjoy. Ciao, ciao. Thank
Mwah.
you.
Ciao.